What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to I Do It Myself. I am Wayno. How are y'all feeling today? If you like what it is that I do over here, hit that sub button, hit them likes, and run up that hype. Today, I want to talk about an important subject to me. They say that respect is earned, not given, right? But how long does it take to earn your respect? How much love do you have to show? How much appreciation do you have to give? How much money do you got to spend? Today, we talking about Westside Gunn versus the WWE. Westside Gunn, artist from Buffalo, New York. Off the rip, he coming from a place that doesn't get respect in sports, hasn't never really gotten it in music, made a mark for himself. And before I get into how he made that mark, let's take into account that they've been through everything under the sun, right? They've been in prison, took all the losses in the street, has the street story, you know what I mean? Like he checks off every single box when it comes to the streets. Yo, this video is brought to you by Jordan Craig Denim. Jordan Craig Denim is a brand, a family-owned brand, working in streetwear business over 30 years by the way of Queens, New York. On top of that, they got everything from premium denim. They got good sweatsuits, good jackets, all types of garments and all types of accessories for any and everything you need. A lot of people have wanted. Everybody from Allen Iverson, Moneybag Yo, Shiloh Sanders, Paul Pierce, Vin Diesel. They got something for everybody. You know it's full time. You gotta get right. Go get you one of these sweatsuits. This sweatsuit I got on in particular is extremely comfortable. I can move around in it. It's comfy. I feel like I could wear this to go outside. I could wear this to the gym. I could wear this to go get my groceries, pick up my kids from school, whatever it is I need to be doing. Good airport fit. Jordan Craig got it. So if you like this sweatsuit or any of the stuff that you've seen, make sure that you hit jordancraig.com and use my code. Like I said, you support me, you support this channel, support Jordan Craig. Now, Westside Gunn, being who he is, representing the streets, has always embraced that side of something that he's loved since a child, which is wrestling, right? Always embraced that, always shown it, always put it into his music, always implemented it into his brand, figured out a dope way how to bridge the cultures between, you know, hip hop, the streets in hip hop, because I believe that the streets in hip hop and hip hop is two different sides of the coin. And gave everybody this love for nostalgia through his brand, right? Griselda by Fashion Rebels. Now, Westside Gunn has, like I said, he's always been a part of wrestling culture because that's something that him and like a lot of us have experienced. I mean, some of us grew up just watching wrestling. Other ones was probably heavy G.I. Joe with Transformers, Ninja Turtles, whatever you could think of in that 80s, the 90s era. But he's put in a lot of work. He's put in a lot of work. He showed people that he's not a poser, and he showed people how much he cares about the about the platform. I mean, how much he really cares. Now, with that being said, Westside Gunn just recently got kicked out of a WWE event.
What's your name? Mark Brenner. Mark Brenner kicked me out of Monday Night Raw, my $5,000 seat. For no reason. All these people in here. I didn't even know.
Now, in this headline, it says it says WWE kicked Westside Gunn out of a show and sent him a cease and desist over use of wrestling references in songs and album covers, which we will get to, which Westside Gunn talks from his point of view. But first and foremost, here's Westside Gunn talking with Smoke Dizzle, my brother, childhood friend, you know what I mean, my brother, for real, and Peter Rosenberg, not Paul Rosenberg, about WrestleMania and the amount of money he spent on suites to go.
You guys take a look at the prices yet, the WrestleMania pre-sale prices?
Man, y'all want me to see? You know how to pay for it.
Tell him. You pay for it already?
You're
a nut job, bro.
Wait, don't say you did a suite.
Yo, he's crazy.
Hold on. Look,
he is
y'all
crazy.
Keep talking. Let me show you the receipt.
Yo, he told me the prices, and I was like, what?
The reason why you're going to think I'm insane is because I didn't get one suite. I got two.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You have the receipt over there?
Yo.
You found it?
It's crazy. When you find out how much it is, you're going to be mad.
No, hold on. This is absolutely wild. And it's great to know because now I have a place to go. My man's whole email account is just updates from WWE.com. You dropped 24 G's on each suite. This is also
and this is the main suite. This isn't the one that's up in. This is in the 100 section.
Oh, this is the low?
Right in front of the ring. TV side. The main.
Oh, no,
the main
that's
two
where I'm at.
suites.
For years, I felt like people in hip hop, or just black people in general, we have always felt some sort of level of loyalty to the brands that we support, right? Whether that is a Nike, a Gucci, or Louis Vuitton, just brands that people support. Everybody has their personal preferences about what they want to spend their money on or not. He's talking here about, spending 48 bands on suites to go to WrestleMania, which is every young man's dream. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Westside Gunn represents something that all black men have on some sort of level, whether it's wrestling or it's Dragon Ball Z. I don't care how tough you is, whatever your thing may have been growing up. I don't care how tough you proclaim to be. I don't care how stern, whatever. It's certain things from our childhood that just mean the most to us, that when they arise is going to make us happy. And we are willing, especially if you got the means, we are willing to put every dime and every dollar earned into our happiness. You know what I'm saying? But what happens when that happiness doesn't provide you what you thought, right? What happens when you find out that Santa Claus ain't real? Case in point, this might be new for younger viewers of this channel, but there was one point in time where Jay-Z boycotted Cristal because he was buying it, heavily, putting it in all his videos, putting it in everything that he was saying, his rhymes and all of that. And he went to them to try to collaborate, and they wasn't with it.
Caught my eye as well. Jay-Z says, hey, if you don't want me, I don't want you. He's organizing a hip-hop boycott of Cristal champagne. It has become a very popular drink among the hip-hop set, often shown off at music parties or on MTV Cribs. The managing director of Cristal recently stirred controversy. He suggested that all these shout-outs for his product might actually be hurting the overall brand image.
He's done multiple things to, appreciate this brand that he grew up on, which is the WWF, formerly now is the WWE, like most of us. So Westside Gunn, he puts up some tweets, and let's read through these tweets. For years, nobody with 2 feet has spent the amount of money I have supporting and pushing a brand I love since I could remember. I sat front row at every big show, literally. All the good times it brought my life to the point when I started making music. I incorporated it in everything like Wu-Tang did karate. I made people who hated the product watch it again. I made people I made it look cool again. When at a time people thought it was nerdy. I watched the same company sit countless of people next to me who's not even fans for real and act like I didn't exist. Now, that is one thing that I have an extreme problem with, because a lot of corporations, let me tell you something. I got problems with Nike and Jordan Brand. If you work for Nike or Jordan Brand, just know it's smoke, just because y'all be seeding people shit that they don't deserve. And that could sound like hate on whatever level, but y'all will give somebody something special because of their basically their how could I say, their following or their engagement, and the person will sell that shit, they get rid of it, they throw it in the closet, don't care about it. That's a whole nother story for when we start out the box, which stay around for that. But he continues, it says, I was threatened to take everything out of my music, which I only did pay homage, or my whole catalog would be demolished. And everybody knows how hard I work coming from Buffalo for me to get that threat, for just supporting and being a real fan. Hurted me, but I stayed quiet and still, like a crazy man, sat front row because I love the culture. I even went viral for spending $50K on sweets. On my soul, I've only been respectful. I've tried having a conversation with one individual because he's causing all of these unnecessary cases. And to be honest, he hates seeing a young black successful, let's continue. But I'm going to stop. We're going to continue, but I'm going to stop. Entrepreneur. Now, we'll pick up from there. Unfortunately, when we take time, we take patience, we take our means, we take our creativity, and you show love or you think you're showing love, that shit ain't got nothing to do with corporate. And it does build up it builds up a certain level of entitlement. Because for myself, like I just said, you know, Nike and Jordan brand, a brand that I've been heavily immersed in since I was a kid. Do I feel entitled to the product? Not necessarily. But when I do know that I'm in a room, or it's people that I meet from certain brands or companies, and you know what I mean, they tell me that they mess with me, and they might send me some here and there, or they might say they mess with me, or they trying to get next to whatever it is I'm working on, and I really try to build with them, it does come at like some sort of level of disappointment where people don't really want to work with you. Now, there is a conversation about copyright infringement, right? And I'm gonna go back to what Westside was talking about, but there is, you know, he's used tons of wrestling imagery and all of that, like the shirt of Chris Benoit. And I wanted to talk about, you know, the boycotting situation and the representation, all of that, and the entitlement, because while Westside Gunn has done all of these things, they don't care about culture, because their culture in the culture in corporate is business. That's it. The bottom line, what it makes versus what it doesn't. That's why he even said, like, yo, y'all said people at this shit that don't even care, might not even be knowledgeable of the brand, and act like I ain't doing nothing. And all I'm doing is trying to put on. Now, it is a very, very funny space with people who don't understand culture and influence. Now, they understand influence because what they do is influential, and they mass produce all types of IP out of, you know what I mean, the brand, right? Like, I remember seeing Undertaker on Joe Rogan and just talking about how Vince McMahon had the Undertaker character for like 3 years before he did but after he met Vince McMahon, the Undertaker had, you know, excuse me, I'm a little bit rambling because I'm trying to think of everything quickly. But Vince McMahon had the Undertaker idea. He met the Undertaker. He wanted to wrestle. And it took him 2 years before he gave him the opportunity, because he was basically like, he found something. He's like, I got the perfect thing for you. And it involves a person that has no personality. Right? So they understand that. They understand selling, sales, all of that. Now, on one side, you know, from a business, from a corporate culture standpoint, I understand that. That doesn't mean I agree with it, with the way they treat them, but I understand how they make these rules. See, all of this legislation and shit they put in is to benefit them, always, at all times. And Westside Gunn, he continues. And I want to talk about like the imagery of people who represent brands means, right? And he says that could afford those seats, picking up from entrepreneur that could afford those seats and have to watch those chains dance across the screen to the point Monday Night Raw starts at 8 p.m. I was kicked out by 8:03 after spending $5K for seats plus travel, hotel, etc. in my own city for absolutely nothing. No lie, they kidding me. Heart broke that day. I put the billboard up, $1 Million Man billboard, which he loves, you know what I mean? And I wanted to push him in the culture because he deserves it. And show Virgil love for the culture. I get a letter saying, ... It says, so I said, you know what I'ma show you love? Only the people. He's writing. There's no periods, no commas, so bear with me, y'all. He says, I'ma show love only to the people that show love to me from now on. So you have to worry. You don't have to worry about me pushing that product over there again. And it's sad because I still love them, but I have my own company, Fourth Rope. And yeah, we're the underdogs, but we love this shit. It's not about money. We're going to keep the culture. We're going to keep pushing the culture. And I'm honored to have Josh Bishop 187 on the trilogy cover because he deserves it for believing in me from day one as my official wrestler, right? Hills have eyes, and it says support art. Now, I want to talk about representation and what that means from a person like Westside Gunn. Now, they probably look at him or looked into him and said, we don't want a guy like that. We don't want a felon. We don't want this. We don't want, you know what I mean, this guy who's probably gang affiliated. Whatever they could have came up with. Because these are the conversations that happen in the corporate offices. These are the conversations that happen, you know what I mean, on these conference calls. But let's talk about representation. For one, the person who built, you know what I mean, the World Wrestling Federation, World Wrestling Entertainment, Vince McMahon. You know, Vince McMahon was reported to have paid millions of dollars over years to multiple women for alleged sexual misconduct. For example, one report said hush money payments between 2006 and 2018 included about $7.5 million to a former wrestler alleging coercion into oral sex, $1 million to a contractor who received nude photos of McMahon, and $1 million to a former WWE manager. In 2022, his company announced a board investigation after a $3 million settlement with a paralegal became public. Also says in January 2024, former WWE employee Janelle Grant filed a federal lawsuit in Connecticut accusing McMahon and former executive John, I'm not going to try to say his last name because it's crazy, of sexual assault, human trafficking, and commercial sexual exploitation, while the defendant was CEO of WWE. Now, you know we living in a world where comparison is the thief of joy, but I be damned if we don't compare none of this shit to the Diddy stuff. Diddy's in federal prison right now for personal things that he did with women who he believed to be his girlfriends or sexual partners or freaks or whatever the case may be. Where you have this situation, Vince McMahon is, you know, he off the board, he out the way, but he cool. You know what I'm saying? He cool. And there was also alleged like freak offs and stuff that he said he wanted women to do and all of that, right? So when we talk about representation, I think it's a travesty on some G shit to not have Westside Gunn involved or try to figure out a certain way that he could work within the company or work with you guys. Not that y'all need him, because of course, this is a brand that's been built damn near my whole life, if not longer. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 42. But y'all want the cool when y'all want the cool. See, it's cool when the stuff that he does or the talent he provides leads to more asses and seats or more people saying that they're into your brand. But that's also looked upon as, we don't need him. But do you? But don't you, I mean? I think that, like, when it comes to boycotting, I don't think that the WWE could be boycotted. Again, it's a very, very highly established brand that wasn't specifically built for people in hip-hop. It was built for entertainment. And while I do understand that, I think instead of trying to boycott the WWE, we need to just support Fourth Rope. I mean, we need to support Westside Gunn and Smoke DZA. We need to support, you know, young black entrepreneurs that are making shifts and pivoting in their careers. To see him even embrace doing something like this for himself, one could say, well, it's his business, so of course it benefits him. But I look at this shit from a different scope. I look at it as the inspiration that he got from the WWE. You know what I mean? While his heart might have been broken from the situation that he went through, you know, he might have not been doing the things that he's doing today without that brand. But knowing that that brand is not going to support him or not going to push him, as people in hip-hop culture who appreciate his music, we appreciate his drops as far as his merch, we need to get, you know, in front of this and push as much as we possibly can. If you're a wrestling fan and you do enjoy WWE, you still going to enjoy WWE. It's a lot of, you know, wrestlers over there that's still doing their thing, especially black wrestlers that are and love hip-hop culture. But then you have what they're doing, and I think that it just requires that same push, how we can make things go viral when it's a police officer harming one of our own, when if it's one of our own harming one of our own, when it's anything negative, that same push that we could offer, we should offer him. You know what I mean? For just cause. You know what I mean? Just cause. Why not? Why not? It's disheartening to see, you know, these corporations make so much or, you know, cash their cultural cows with us and do so many different things, you know what I mean, based on our engagement, because they love our engagement. Don't get it twisted. They might have not made it specifically for hip hop, but oh yeah, they love what we do with their brand. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is like you can't hustle on their block unless they got a piece in the shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes. Y'all let me know how y'all feel though. This is how I do it myself. For the ones that rock with me, you know how we doing. For the ones that don't, eventually will. We gonna keep supporting Westside Gunn and Smoke DZA and Fourth Rope. Peace.